is Take 5.
Hi, and welcome to Take 5, a not-so-ordinary movie review show. Thanks for joining us again. We are your hosts, Donisha.
And I'm Eli.
Today we are going to be discussing the movie Collateral Beauty. There are a lot of spoilers, so if you have not watched it, please turn away now, and we will be right back after this important message.
You know we gotta pay the bills.
When smoking gives you COPD, you learn to lie a little bit. You make up excuses like, I have to get my keys. You guys go on. Anything so you can walk at your own pace. I used to do that all the time. Those lies don't work anymore. My tip is, the worst lies are the lies you tell yourself. Like smoking isn't that dangerous.
You can quit. For free help, visit cdc.gov/tips.
Okay, so Eli, could you give me a brief summary about this movie?
Absolutely. According to Netflix, this movie is about an advertising executive wrestling with grief, and they find themselves writing letters to unconventional recipients, and caring colleagues plot a ruse against them.
Yeah. So, I know you did a lot of research about this and the ratings and everything.
Yes.
Could you tell me about that too?
I love talking about ratings because a lot of times they are wrong in my opinion. But for this movie specifically, on IMDb it has a 6.8 out of 10, which is above average, kind of cool. But on Rotten Tomato it has a 14%.
And you know, I know we discussed our predictions before this, and I noticed that we both had a trend, like one person got it and the other person got another thing. So the movie was kind of predictable in a way, besides the ending that threw us all off.
Yeah, I assumed that it was going to be just by reading what they had on Netflix, I assumed it was going to be like a Christmas Carol type thing, and it was going to be haunted by like love, death, and time or whatever. And I was very correct. And you...
I actually predicted that his daughter was the one that passed away. He lost his daughter and didn't know why until the very end, but kind of maybe iffy on the whole movie because I was just like, okay, yeah, I get his daughter died, but why? Like, what is the reason why? And it's like every time he was asked, he would just like walk away.
Yeah. I guess I kind of hoped in the beginning that they didn't like reveal so soon that it was the daughter who died because like I wanted a reason to like keep watching, you know, and I thought that would all be kind of revealed at once. But the thing they decided to like dangle over our heads was just the fact of how she died, which to me was less anticlimactic than like just the child dying itself. But I had to find another reason to stay in this movie.
Yeah, like you said, I feel like it would have been better if they just like told us at the end like daughter died and why she died instead of daughter died. We're not gonna tell you.
Yep.
It was just kind of pointless to me. But anyways, we will be right back. Stay tuned, and I promise you won't want to miss this segment. We will be right.
The day the world stopped was the day we found where to go. From now on, we're not going to leave anything on our plates because we've learned to savor the moments that were always there, and they never tasted this good.
I have great trust in my healthcare providers, both here at the Cancer Center as well as at the Mayo Clinic. And so I asked a lot of questions, the same that I do with every other medication that I take. And so that was one of the primary reasons, is that I felt like I had the trust in my providers to be able to do that. But then secondly, also have folks that I'm surrounded with that I wanted to try to protect. I'm Ken Oliver, the founder of Last for Life. I encourage you to
trust your doc.
Trust your doc.
Get the shot. Get your shot.
And get the shot.
Welcome back to Take 5. I'm Donisha.
And I'm Eli.
This week, we are talking about Collateral Beauty with Will Smith. What are your thoughts, Eli, about Will Smith's performance?
Well, you know, Will Smith, just as an individual, I've never really had a complaint about his performance. In this movie, there was a star-studded cast, which to a lot of people is a red flag, actually, because, okay, why do they have so many big names in a movie if they don't have anything else to fall back on? And I kind of realized that in watching this movie, that, like, it doesn't seem like they knew which direction they were going in.
Yeah, I have to say, every time I see Will Smith, he's like a big part of my childhood. So every time I see him, I like get happy and excited. I'm like, oh, Will Smith is in here. Of course, like you see Will Smith, you're gonna be like, oh, he's gonna be the main character. But who really was the main character?
I don't know. I don't understand it, because you'd think that it was Howard, the main character, the one played by Will Smith. But then they bring in 3 other characters who have, like, they kind of relate to the plot, they move it forward, but they're also trying to get them to all individually have their own, like, character arcs. And there's just not enough time in the movie to cover everything. So it just gets confusing and it feels kind of unfulfilled.
Yeah, so the main thing of this movie was love, death, and time.
Right.
And I see with Howard, who Will Smith played, I see with him, he loved his daughter. He lost his daughter to cancer. He felt like he ran out of time with her.
Right.
Okay, I see that. And then, like, the 3 people that are actors that they hired are representing love, death, and time. And then it focuses on his 3 colleagues, one with love, one with death, one with time.
Right.
But it feels like some of them had all 3, and it kind of threw the whole movie off because now I'm confused because they didn't finish those colleagues' stories.
See, that's what I'm saying. Like, they only had an hour and a half, or I guess they just decided an hour and a half was enough time. And I guess that the reason that they decided to go so deep into, like, or not go so deep, but to have these 3 other arcs is to have, like, an alternate way to kind of dive deeper into these 3 concepts. But outside of, like, a monologue by an old lady and just some chitter chatter, there wasn't really a whole lot there. And I really just wish they had only focused on Will Smith's character.
Yeah, it was, like, I get the concept, but it was just too much to put in an hour and 30 minutes, like you said. They didn't finish their stories. And I'm not going to lie, I got pretty interested in the other people's stories.
Right.
But got kind of mad because, like, what happened to them? Like, what's the ending? But we're going to finish talking about Howard's story.
Yes.
So hold tight. We'll be right back. We got to go pay some bills. Stay tuned.
Most of my family, they never graduated high school or even let alone go to college, so I'm trying to break that barrier. Every day after work, went straight to school, studied hard, and it paid off. I could not have done it alone. I see the future is really bright for me. The high school diploma is just added to the confidence, and now I feel unstoppable.
Find free adult education classes near you at finishyourdiploma.org.
Eli. How you feel about Howard and his ending?
Okay, so I could kind of get with, like, the minimum character development, just kind of all over the place. I could handle that, like, fine, whatever. But then at the last minute, they kind of revealed that the person that Howard has been talking to as if they were strangers the whole time, or at least kind of generally acquaintances the whole time, is revealed to just be his wife. And I don't understand it, because the wife says, oh yeah, I divorced my husband. You know, 79% of people who lose couples who lose a child divorce. So you're part of the 79% too, right? And he says, yeah. First of all, side note, according to a reputable source, it is not 79%, it is 16%. But, you know, whatever. Facts don't matter, I guess.
Honestly, I just don't get, like, how she knew the whole time. I can see, like, he had a bunch of trauma. Okay, we understand, like, okay, maybe he just, like, put his whole family out of his mind just to, like, not deal with the trauma.
Right.
But she knew the entire time, and I'm just like, they were talking about their child as if they were different children. And it was confusing at the end because she was telling her child's story, and Howard was talking to her like, oh, that's crazy, like, he didn't know. Then the ending, when he came to her house and she was like, I'm watching a video of my baby and her dad, and it was him and his daughter.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, what? This throws the whole movie off.
Honestly, when he started, like, refusing to watch this, like, video, I was like, wow, this guy just secretly hates kids, doesn't he? Oh, my gosh. But he was just so adamant, like, no, I don't want to watch it. And then I guess it made sense why he was so adamant to not watch it, because it was his own kid. But, like, the whole thing was just really confusing. They threw away all of the relationship that they had built together, in my opinion, by just announcing that, oh, by the way, they already knew each other in the last couple seconds.
Yeah, and I'm like, okay, grief, okay, but it was him accepting it. I guess this is my thought process.
Okay.
The ending was him accepting that, okay, my daughter's dead and she died from brain cancer.
Right.
But it just doesn't make sense to me how she pretended that they did not know each other until the end.
I could understand if it was like a POV entirely from Will Smith's character's point of view, right? Like if he just kind of like foggy and everything, whatever, grief does some weird stuff to you. But no, it was told from like a viewer, like a general movie perspective, like just an outside person perspective. So anything they tried to do in terms of like showing Will's perspective, I forgot the character's name. He's just Will Smith to me in my head. So anything regarding Will Smith's perspective isn't as in depth. So I really think that they could have done more with Will Smith, and then it kind of would have made sense at the end. Like if you squinted a little bit, it would have been fine if they had just focused more on Will.
Yeah, like I said, it threw the ending threw the whole movie off for me, and I was just confused.
Yeah.
And I was just like, okay, this sucked. Honestly, it would have been one of the movies that I liked until that ending.
See, I'm going to be honest, I'm not a huge fan of like sappy movies that are meant to make you cry. And I also don't handle death in movies well. Like I'll bawl like a little baby. But this one, I was just so taken out of it by how confusing it was that I was kind of disappointed.
It threw the entire message of the movie off for me.
They were trying to cover so many topics at once that it didn't make sense. It just felt empty, kind of like a gimmicky movie. And that's so sad because I think it had the potential to be like a real like tearjerker movie of the year. But Rotten Tomato was kind of right in giving it only 14%.
That is true. But, well, that was our thoughts on the movie. Thank you for joining us, and catch us next week as we discuss our favorite holiday movie of 2021. It's a surprise, and we know you love it. So wind down and relax from your stressful week. Remember to take 5 on SM2 on YouTube and Facebook. If you have any movie suggestions for the future, please drop us a comment and let us know what you would like for us to review. We cannot do this without our amazing team. Thanks to our executive director, Lon Leavenwall, Garrett Grove, Ziani Furge, and Maya Gibson, and amazing advisor, Jonathan McGowan.
You can tell who wrote all of this out for us.
We are Take 5, and see you next week. I'm Donisha.
And I'm Eli.
And we're out.